Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into it, tackling a debate that, honestly, a lot of professional photographers grapple with, choosing between the Canon R5 and the newer R6 Mark II.
Yeah, the R5 landed back in 2020. Really set a benchmark, didn't it? High-res mirrorless. And then the R6 Mark II arrived, 2 years later, November 22.
Exactly. And it's not just about, which camera is better. It's more like they represent different approaches, different priorities for working pros.
That's the core of it. We've pulled together a ton of Material Pro reviews, tech sheets, real-world tests, basically everything we could find to really compare them properly.
Right. And our mission today, for you listening, is pretty straightforward. We want to unpack all those technical details, sure, but also what they actually mean out in the field, so you can figure out which camera makes sense for your work, for your investment.
Are you chasing that ultimate pixel count, that 8K capability? Or is it more about, say, speed, reliability, maybe low-light performance, and just workflow efficiency?
That's the million-dollar question, or maybe the $1,400 question in this case, right? Because that's roughly the price difference we're talking about.
It is. The R5, yeah, it arrived with a bang. 45 megapixels, 8K video, just pushing specs. The R6 Mark II, though, it felt more like Canon refining the formula. Better autofocus, definitely a better buffer.
And the big one for video shooters, unlimited recording, no overheating shutdowns.
Exactly. All that. Plus the 24 megapixels, which is still plenty for most work, and yeah, significantly cheaper.
Okay, so let's dig in. Where do we start? It has to be the sensor, doesn't it? That's the absolute fundamental difference.
Yeah, got to start there. That's where the R5 and R6 Mark II really show their different personalities. It's that age-old trade-off, resolution versus low-light power.
So the R5, that's the resolution king. 45 megapixels.
Unquestionably. It's built for detail, for capturing just, an immense amount of information. Think huge prints, massive cropping potential.
And the R6 Mark II.
That comes in at 24 megapixels. Still very respectable, professional grade, absolutely.
Right.
But clearly designed with a different balance in mind.
Let's quantify that difference, though.
Yeah.
That 45 MP on the R5, that's, nearly double the pixels? Like 87% more pixels than the R6 Mark II?
It is.
Right.
And you really see that advantage in specific areas. Commercial work, definitely. High-end studio portraits where clients expect that level of detail. Big advertising campaigns.
And cropping, right. If you're shooting, say, architecture or maybe stock photos where you don't always frame perfectly, being able to punch in really tight in post.
Oh, absolutely. You could crop an R5 image by 50% and still have, over 20 megapixels left? Easily enough for high-quality publication. That flexibility is huge.
You lose that with the R6 Mark II to some extent, cropping a 24 MP file that heavily starts to push it.
It does. You have less room to maneuver in post if you need extreme crops.
And the R5 has that other trick up its sleeve for resolution nuts, the pixel shift mode. Let's talk about that for a second.
Ah, yeah, the high-resolution mode. It's pretty specialized, but for certain jobs, it's incredible.
How does it work, technically? It physically moves the sensor.
That's right. It shifts the sensor by just 1 pixel width between shots, usually 4 or more shots. The clever part is, by doing that, it captures full RGB color information at every single pixel location.
Instead of the usual sensor method, which involves interpolating or guessing some of the color data.
Exactly. Standard sensors use a Bayer pattern. They estimate color. Pixel Shift gets the real data for every pixel. The result. You can combine these shots into one massive file. On the R5, that can be up to 400 megapixels.
Wow. Okay, so who needs 400 megapixels?
Think archival work, museum artifact documentation, maybe high-end fine art reproduction, situations where absolute maximum detail and color fidelity are paramount. Needs a tripod, static subject, obviously.
Right, but it puts the R5 in a totally different league for that specific kind of work. The R6 Mark II just doesn't have that.
Nope. It's an R5 exclusive feature in this comparison.
Okay, so R5 wins on pure pixel count and that special high-res mode. But now, let's flip the coin. Low light. This is where the R6 Mark II starts to shine, right?
This is where things get really interesting, yeah. You have to look past just the number of pixels and think about the size of each pixel.
Okay, so the R6 Mark II has fewer pixels, but each one is physically larger.
Much larger. We're talking 36 square micrometers for the R6 Mark II pixels compared to about 19.3 for the R5. That's, it's an 86% bigger area per pixel.
86%, that sounds huge. So translate that. What does that bigger pixel area do for me when I'm shooting in a dark church or a dimly lit concert venue?
It's simple physics, really. A bigger pixel is like a bigger bucket for catching light, for catching photons. It gathers light more efficiently.
More light means a stronger signal relative to the electronic noise the sensor inevitably produces.
Precisely. You get a better signal-to-noise ratio, fundamentally.
Yeah.
So push the ISO up to, say, 12,800, even 25,600. Yeah. The files coming out of the R6 Mark II are just cleaner, less noise, truer colors, less of that blotchy chroma noise you fight with.
So practically speaking, for anyone shooting events, weddings, photojournalism, the R6 Mark II gives you more usable high ISO shots straight out of camera.
Absolutely. You're spending less time fighting noise in post-production. You have more confidence shooting in available light, however dim it is.
And the native ISO range reflects that design choice too, doesn't it?
It does. The R6 Mark II goes natively up to 102,400. The R5 tops out its native range at 51,200, so double the headroom on the R6 Mark II. That tells you a lot about where Canon expected this camera to excel.
Okay, but let me push back slightly. Couldn't I shoot the R5 at, say, ISO 12,800, get that 45 MP file, and then just downsample it in software to 24 MP? Wouldn't that averaging of pixels help reduce the noise and give me something similar to the R6 Mark II?
That's a really common question, and yes, you can do that. Downsampling the R5 file will make the noise appear finer, less noticeable.
So it's a valid workaround.
It helps, but it's not quite the same. You're still starting with a signal captured by those smaller R5 pixels, which inherently had a lower signal-to-noise ratio to begin with. You're essentially applying a sophisticated noise reduction algorithm via downsampling. The R6 Mark II file, because of the larger pixels, just starts with a cleaner, more robust signal from the get-go.
So the foundation is better on the R6 Mark II file in low light.
Exactly. You're generally going to get a slightly better result, especially in terms of shadow detail and color fidelity at those really high ISOs, straight from the R6 Mark II.
And what about dynamic range? Both use the 𝐑𝐞𝐬𝐥 processor, right? Does that play out differently?
Yeah, same processor in both.
Yep.
It's a beast. In the R5, it's wrangling those huge 45 MP files, managing all that data, trying to maximize dynamic range in good light. And the R5 does capture slightly more tonal gradation in optimal conditions like landscape or studio.
But in challenging light, mixed lighting, deep shadows.
That's where the R6 Mark II's larger pixels give it an edge again, particularly in shadow recovery. When you lift the shadows in post, the R6 Mark II files tend to show less noise creeping in compared to the R5. That's super relevant for event photographers dealing with contrasty scenes.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've covered image quality, resolution, low light. Let's shift gears. Capturing the moment speed, focus. Crucial for action.
Right. Autofocus, both are, frankly, excellent. Canon's dual-pixel CMOS AF2, deep learning subject tracking, it's top-tier stuff.
They both cover pretty much the whole frame, right? Near 100% coverage.
Yeah, the R5 technically has more selectable points, almost 6,000, versus just under 5,000 on the R6 II. But in practice, that density difference isn't usually the deciding factor.
What is the differentiator then in AF?
Again, it comes back to low light sensitivity. The R6 Mark II just edges it out.
How much better is it?
The R6 Mark II is rated down to EV-NAJS 6.5. The R5 is rated to EV-NAJS 6.
EV-NAJS 6.5. What does that mean in the real world? How dark is that?
It's really dark. Think focusing by moonlight, or maybe just the light from a single candle across a room. That half-stop advantage for the R6 Mark II, from -6 to -6.5, means it's just that little bit more reliable locking focus in truly challenging, almost pitch-black conditions.
So for astrophotographers, maybe some types of wildlife photography at dawn or dusk or those candlelit wedding moments, that could be the difference between getting the shot and the camera just hunting.
It absolutely could. It's a small number on paper, but it translates to real-world utility in those extreme scenarios.
And the subject tracking. Both have the AI-driven stuff for people, animals, vehicles.
They do, and both are very, very good. But the R6 Mark II, being the newer camera by 2 years, it benefits from the latest refinements to those algorithms.
The slightly stickier tracking?
Generally, yes. In confined situations, maybe a subject moving erratically or getting briefly hidden behind something. Yeah. The R6 Mark II tends to hold on just a little more tenaciously. Feels a bit more intelligent in anticipating movement. It's subtle, but for demanding action sequences, it can make a difference.
Okay, AF is close, slight edge to the R6 II in the dark and maybe tracking, but continuous shooting speed.
This is where the gap lends considerably, isn't it?
Oh, massively. This is a huge point for the R6 Mark II.
Mechanical shutter first.
Both hit a very respectable 12 frames per second with the mechanical shutter. Great for avoiding rolling shutter issues with fast action.
But switch to the electronic shutter.
And the R6 Mark II just takes off. It hits an incredible 40 frames per second.
40. compared to the R5.
The R5's electronic shutter maxes out at 20 frames per second, which is still fast, but 40 is double.
Let's pause on that. 40 frames per second.
Yeah.
For sports shooters, wildlife photographers, what does that doubling actually give you? Is it overkill?
It's definitely not overkill if you're trying to capture the absolute peak moment. Think of birds' wings in a specific position, the exact instant a ball hits a bat, the apex of a jump. Having 40 frames crammed into that 1 second dramatically increases your odds of catching that perfect, fleeting instant.
The hero shot, as they say. Exactly, that one frame that tells the whole story. Going from 20 to 40 fits might mean the difference between almost getting it and absolutely nailing it.
And can the camera actually keep that up? What about the buffer? A fast frame rate is useless if the buffer fills instantly.
Good point. And the R6 Mark II has significantly improved buffer performance, too. It can sustain that 40 fits burst for longer before it slows down, and it clears faster, especially using fast UHS-2 SD cards.
Which we'll get back to when we talk storage costs. But there's another speed feature exclusive to the R6 Mark II, right? The pre-shooting.
Ah, yes, the raw burst mode with pre-shooting. This is borderline magic for certain types of photography.
Explain how it works. It records before you press the button.
That's basically it. When you half-press the shutter button in this mode, the camera starts continuously recording images to a temporary buffer. It keeps doing this in a loop. Then, when you fully press the shutter,
it saves not just the images from that point forward, but also the images from the half second before you pressed it.
Exactly. It captures the moment leading up to the decisive moment you reacted to. Think about trying to capture a lightning strike, or a bird suddenly taking flight, or a spontaneous expression at an event. Human reaction time is often too slow.
So this eliminates that lag. You capture the moment you saw, not the moment after you reacted.
Precisely. It turns so many potential near misses into perfectly timed shots for wildlife, unpredictable action, even candid moments in photojournalism. This feature alone is a massive workflow advantage for the R6 Mark II. The R5 doesn't have anything like it.
Okay, that's a compelling case for the R6 Mark II on the speed front. Let's pivot now, video. This feels like another area with really stark differences, especially for hybrid shooters.
Huge differences, yeah. This section could easily be the deciding factor if video is a major part of your work.
And we have to start with resolution again. R5 takes the lead here, right?
Undeniably. The R5 offers true 8K video recording that's 8 in 192 by 400 and 320 pixels. The R6 Mark II tops out at 4K UHD, which is 3840 by 2160.
Now, a lot of people might think, I only deliver in 4K or even 1080p, why do I need 8K? What's the professional argument for it?
Two main things. First, massive flexibility in post-production. You can shoot a wide 8K master shot, say, of an interview, and then in your 4K edit, you can crop in for a medium shot, crop again for a close-up, even add virtual pans and zooms, all without losing any final 4K resolution. It's like having multiple cameras from one.
Okay, reframing, what's the second benefit?
Image quality. When you take that 8K footage and downsample it to 4K, the resulting 4K image is incredibly sharp, detailed, and clean. It's called oversampling. It produces a noticeably better 4K image than shooting native 4K with fewer artifacts like moire.
And the R5 also has better color specs internally, that 4.2.2 10-bit thing.
Yes, internal 4.2.2 10-bit recording. The R6 Mark II can do it too, but the R5 offers it across more modes, including its higher quality options.
Remind us quickly, 10-bit means more colors, less banding and gradients like...
Exactly. Billions of colors instead of millions. And 4.2.2 means it's recording more color information relative to brightness. Put them together, and you get much more flexibility for color grading in post. You can push the colors around, adjust exposure more aggressively before the image starts to break down or show ugly artifacts.
So on paper, for pure video quality and flexibility, the R5 looks amazing, but...
Then comes the elephant in the room. Overheating.
Yeah, the R5's infamous recording limits. This was a huge deal when it launched.
It really was. Because the R5 is pushing so much data, especially in 8K or even high frame rate 4K like 120 fps, it generates a lot of heat. And to protect itself, the camera imposes recording time limits.
How strict are we talking?
It varies depending on the mode, the ambient temperature, how long it's been off. But you could be looking at limits as low as 20 minutes, sometimes even less for 8K RAW, before it needs a significant cool down period. Maybe 10, 20 minutes or more before you can record again for a decent duration.
That's just not workable for certain professional jobs, is it?
Absolutely not. Imagine filming a wedding ceremony, a corporate keynote, a long documentary interview. You simply cannot have the camera shutting down halfway through an unrepeatable event. It's a deal breaker for reliability in those scenarios.
And this is where the R6 Mark II completely flips the script.
Totally. The R6 Mark II offers unlimited video recording time in all its available modes, up to the card capacity or battery life, of course. It just doesn't have those artificial thermal limits.
So for event videographers, documentary shooters, anyone doing long-form content, the R6 Mark II provides peace of mind. It's the reliable workhorse.
It's built for that. Canon clearly learned from the R5 feedback and prioritized thermal management and reliability in the R6 Mark II's video implementation.
And being newer, the R6 Mark II picked up some nice video-specific handling features, too.
Yeah, a couple of really smart ones. My favorite is the dedicated photo-video switch.
Instead of being a mode on the dial.
Right. You flick a physical switch, and you're instantly in video mode with all your chosen video settings recalled, or back to photo mode with your photo settings. No menu diving, no accidentally recording video with your still settings. It's much faster for hybrid shooting.
That sounds genuinely useful on a busy shoot. What else?
It has automatic lens breathing correction for compatible RF lenses.
Lens breathing. That's the slight zoom effect you sometimes see when pulling focus.
Exactly. You look distracting, unprofessional. The R6 Mark II digitally corrects for that in-camera, making your focus pulls look much smoother, more cinematic, even with standard photo lenses. The R5 doesn't have that built-in correction.
Interesting. Okay, one last video point. Slow motion. How do they compare there?
It's another trade-off. The R5 can do 4K video at 120 frames per second. Really backs high-quality slow motion.
And the R6 Mark II.
The R6 Mark II pushes the frame rate higher, up to 180 frames per second, which gives you even slower slow motion,
right,
but only at full HD 1080p resolution.
Okay. So if you need the absolute slowest motion possible and 1080p is fine, the R6 Mark II wins. But if you need high-resolution 4K slow motion, the R5 has the edge.
Precisely. Depends on your deliverable and the specific slow motion effect you're after.
Okay, this is great. We've covered image quality, speed, video. Let's talk practicalities now. Using these things all day. Ergonomics, build, displays, battery, the operational stuff.
Right. The day-to-day experience, build quality first. Both are excellent. Pro-grade magnesium alloy bodies, weather-sealed, built to take a beating.
And physically, they're pretty much the same size, aren't they?
Almost identical dimensions, height, width, depth. The R6 Mark II is noticeably lighter, though, about 680 grams versus 738 for the R5.
That's 60 grams. Does it make a difference?
You know, over a long 10 or 12-hour shooting day, especially if you're hand-holding or using a gimbal, yeah, you probably would notice that little bit of weight saving. Every bit helps.
What about the controls? Is there a difference in layout?
One key difference that a lot of pros coming from DSLRs really care about? The top LCD panel.
The little screen on top. The R5 has it.
Yes, the R5 has that traditional top info LCD where you can quickly glance down and see your main settings, shutter speed, aperture, ISO, battery, shots remaining, without taking your eye away or waking up the main rear screen.
And the R6 Mark II?
Lacks it. Using mode dial there instead. So for settings checks on the R6 Mark II, you're relying on the rear LCD or looking through the viewfinder. Some people really miss that top screen for efficiency.
Speaking of viewfinders and screens, any differences there? I imagine the R5 has the higher specs.
It does. The R5's electronic viewfinder, EVF, is a higher resolution OLED panel, 5.76 million dots. It's incredibly crisp in detail.
And the R6 Mark II's EVF?
Still very good, a 3.69 million dot OLED. Perfectly usable, professional grade. But side by side, the R5's EVF is noticeably sharper. That higher resolution can be helpful for critical manual focusing, really seeing fine detail.
Same story for the rear LCD screens.
Pretty much. R5 has a slightly larger 3.2-inch screen with 2.1 million dots. R6 Mark II has a 3.0-inch screen with 1.62 million dots. Again, both are good, fully articulating touchscreens, great for video and awkward angles, but the R5's is just that bit bigger and higher res.
Okay, so R5 wins on screen and EVF quality, but this is where the R6 Mark II pulls way ahead, isn't it? Battery life.
Oh, massively. This is probably the single biggest operational difference between them day to day. It's quite staggering.
What are the numbers? They use the same battery, right? The LPE6NH?
Yep, same battery. But the R6 Mark II, according to the standard CP testing, gets around 580 shots per charge.
Okay, 580. And the R5?
Around 320 shots per charge.
Wow. That's not even close. That's an 81% advantage for the R6 Mark II.
It's huge. Now, CP ratings are just a standardized test. Real-world use will vary. But that relative difference is absolutely real.
What does that mean for a working pro, carrying fewer batteries?
Fewer batteries, yes. Less swapping batteries during crucial moments. Less anxiety about running out of power on a long shoot day. For an event photographer covering a 12-hour wedding, that difference is enormous for workflow and peace of mind. You could just focus on shooting.
That improved efficiency must come from the lower res sensor and maybe the slightly lower res screens drawing less power.
Presumably a combination of factors, yeah.
Yeah.
Processor efficiency, sensor readout, display power draw. Canon clearly optimized the R6 Mark II for power consumption.
Okay, last piece of the practical puzzle, storage media. Dual slots in both, which is essential for pros.
Yeah.
But different types of cards, right?
Very different, and this has major cost implications. The R5 needs a CF Express Type B card slot to handle its 45 MP files and especially its 8K video data rates. It also has one SD UHS-2 slot.
And CF Express cards are expensive.
Significantly more expensive than SD cards, yes.
Yeah.
And you need a CF Express reader, which is also an extra cost.
Whereas the R6 Mark II.
It uses dual SD UHS-2 slots. Much more common, much more affordable. Most photographers already have a stash of fast SD cards.
So the R6 Mark II has a much lower barrier to entry in terms of storage cost, and it's easier to leverage existing media.
Absolutely. The total investment needed to get the R5 system fully operational with adequate storage is considerably higher than for the R6 Mark II, purely because of that CF Express requirement.
Plus, managing those huge 45 MP RAW files and 8K video files from the R5 requires more computer horsepower, more hard drive space for storage and backup. It's a whole workflow consideration.
It really is. The R6 Mark II's 24 MP files and 4K video are much more manageable in terms of storage space and processing demands. Faster edits, quicker transfers, less strain on your infrastructure.
Okay, fantastic breakdown. We've hit all the key tech specs and practical differences. Now let's try to synthesize this. Let's match the tool to the job. Which camera makes more sense for different types of professional photography?
All right, let's do it. First up, commercial and studio work. High-end product shots, advertising, fashion.
This feels like R5 territory, doesn't it? All about maximum resolution.
Overwhelmingly, yes. Clients in this space often demand the highest possible quality for massive prints or detailed retouching. The R5's 45 MP is often a baseline requirement. Plus, that pixel shift mode is a bonus for certain static product shots or architectural details.
Okay, clear win for the R5 there. Now, what about the run-and-gun pros? Wedding photographers, event shooters, photojournalists.
Here, the pendulum swings hard towards the R6 Mark II. The priorities shift completely.
It's about efficiency, speed, reliability.
Exactly. Unlimited video for ceremonies or speeches. Much better battery life for all-day coverage. The 40 MP's burst for capturing fleeting moments. Superior low-light AF for dimly lit venues. And those manageable 24 MP files are way faster to cull, edit, and deliver, which is critical when you shoot thousands of images in a day.
Makes perfect sense. R6 Mark II seems tailor-made for that kind of work. What about sports and wildlife? This one feels trickier.
It's definitely the most nuanced category. There's a real push and pull here.
The R6 Mark II has the speed advantage 40 feet, the pre-shooting buffer. That seems huge for action.
Undeniably huge. Capturing the exact moment of impact or a bird taking flight. The R6 Mark II's speed features are incredibly compelling.
Ooh.
But wildlife and some sports often involve distant subjects. And that's where the R5's 45 megapixels give you that massive cropping power. You can shoot a bird far away, crop in significantly, and still retain enough resolution for a high-quality print or publication.
Whereas the R6 Mark II, if you crop that heavily, you might run out of pixels for a big print.
You might, yeah. The R5 simply lets you get closer electronically via cropping, making better use of expensive super telephoto lenses. So it's a trade-off. R6 Mark II for peak action capture speed, R5 for cropping flexibility and reach.
Depends on the specific type of sports wildlife and how close you can typically get.
Exactly. Tough choice there.
Okay, final category. Landscape and fine art. Where do they fit?
Traditionally, this is R5 territory again.
Ooh.
Landscape photographers often prioritize maximum detail for large gallery-quality prints. The 45 MP sensor delivers that. Pixel shift can be a bonus for static scenes too.
But the R6 Mark II isn't a bad choice here either.
Not at all. 24 MP is still plenty for decent-sized prints. And some landscape shooters might prioritize the R6 Mark II's slightly better dynamic range or shadow recovery, or its lighter weight for hiking, or maybe they primarily share online where 45 MP is overkill. It's a very capable alternative, just not the ultimate detail machine like the R5.
Great summary. So bringing it all together, the final verdict isn't that one is better, is it?
No, absolutely not. They're optimized for different needs, different priorities, different workflows.
The R5 is for the photographer who absolutely needs maximum resolution, 45 megapixels, 8K video capability, the best EVF and screen, that top LCD, and is willing to accept the higher cost, the storage demands, and the video recording limits.
It's the ultimate specs choice. prioritizing detail above all else.
And the R6 Mark II.
That's the choice for the photographer, prioritizing efficiency, speed, and reliability. You get phenomenal speed with 40 fps in pre-shooting. You get rock-solid unlimited video, way better battery life, fantastic low-light performance, and a much more manageable workflow with 24 MP files. Plus, it saves you significant money.
And that $1,400 or so price difference. That's not insignificant.
It's huge. That saving could easily buy you a very, very good RF lens.
Okay.
And honestly, investing in better glass often makes a bigger difference to your final image quality than the difference between these two camera bodies, especially moving from 24 MP to 45 MP.
That's a really crucial point. The total system cost and where you allocate your budget. The R6 Mark II body saves money upfront and saves money long-term on storage and maybe even computer upgrades.
Exactly. Lower friction in the whole process.
So we've talked specs, workflow, costs. What's the final takeaway? A provocative thought for people to mull over.
Okay, building on that cost idea, we know the R5 costs more upfront. We know CF Express cards are expensive. We know the files are huge.
Sure.
So think about this. Forget the initial purchase price for a moment. How much extra does the R5's 45 megapixel workflow really cost your business over, say, the next 3 to 5 years?
You mean in terms of hard drives, faster computers needed for editing, cloud storage, backup solutions, maybe even just the extra time spent managing those massive files?
All of it. The total cost of ownership, the operational drag, is the benefit of 45 MP in your specific field worth that ongoing investment in time and money compared to the efficiency of the R6 Mark II's 24 MP system?
That's a really interesting question. It forces you to think beyond just the camera specs and consider the entire ecosystem and workflow sustainability. Are you buying a feature or are you buying a system that fits your business long term?
That's the question to ponder.
Fantastic. A lot to think about there. That wraps up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.